It all began as a design experiment and ended as a car that may not have been the fastest on the street, but was fast enough to defeat Germany's giants on the racetrack. This is the story of the Audi TT. Audi searches for a new identity. The story starts in 1991 when Audi unveiled the Quattro Spider concept, a small two-seat sports car that immediately captivated the public. The reaction was clear. People were fascinated, and Audi realized that a two-seat sports car could be both a design statement and a commercial success. At the same time, the Volkswagen Group was developing a shared modular platform that would underpin the Golf Mark IV, Jetta, Skoda Octavia, Seat Leon, second-generation Seat Toledo, and the Audi A3. That platform would soon become the foundation for something entirely new, a design renaissance of the 1990s. In the early 1990s, France experienced a design renaissance. Under the leadership of Patrick Lequesmont, Renault introduced bold and unconventional cars such as the Twingo, the Laguna concept, and the Scenic. The culmination of this philosophy was the Renault Argos concept in 1994, heavily inspired by Bauhaus principles, pure shapes, geometry, and function over ornament. At the same time, within Volkswagen, Freeman Thomas was working on what would become the new Volkswagen Beetle. Like Renault's designers, he was inspired by Bauhaus, but also by automotive design from the 1930s. Freeman Thomas and the birth of the TT. Freeman Thomas was tasked with designing a new Audi sports car. In less than 2 months, the design was complete. It was radically different from the A3, A4, A6, and A8. Minimalist, perfectly proportioned, and free of unnecessary lines, Audi's management loved it. The plan was straightforward. The car would be built on a shortened Audi A3 platform. The interior followed the same philosophy. Exposed aluminum surfaces, seats inspired by baseball gloves. The project embodied Audi's core philosophy, Vorsprung durch Technik, and progress through technology. The concept was received enthusiastically. From concept to production, problems and solutions. Audi had just 12 months to turn the concept into a production car. Due to increased weight, the base model was upgraded to 178 horsepower, the suspension was reworked, the brakes were improved. The goal was clear. The TT must not drive like a regular A3. The Audi TT launched in 1998. It was quick, but not quick enough. Cars like the Nissan 350Z soon appeared, faster and cheaper. Audi needed to prove itself, and in those days, there was only one way to do that. You went racing. DTM, the battlefield. After a forced 3-year hiatus following the collapse of the Class 1 touring cars era, DTM returned in 2000 as the Deutsche Tourenwagen Masters. The new regulations introduced rear-wheel drive, tubular silhouette chassis, 4.0-liter V8 engines, and banned expensive electronic driver aid that had destroyed the previous series. Mercedes-Benz and Opel entered with full factory support. Mercedes with the CLK DTM, Opel with the Astra DTM Coupe. Audi, by contrast, participated only in a semi-official capacity. That's where ABT Sportsline stepped in. The Audi TTR, fresh off winning the Super Tourenwagen Cup in 1999, ABT Sportsline entered 4 Audi TTR cars. The TTR featured a tubular chassis with integrated roll cage built by Fostech, a 460 horsepower V8 engine from Heine Mater, a 6-speed sequential gearbox by X-Track. As Hans-Jürgen App later recalled, our involvement in DTM was born out of necessity. After the Super Touring Car Championship ended, we suddenly had nowhere to race. The TT concept was developed in secrecy, and in just 100 days we built 3 cars and debuted them at Hockenheim. A difficult start and the right man. The beginning was far from ideal. The first half of the season was brutal. 5 non-starts and 10 retirements severely hurt the team's chances, but the TTR had potential, and it had the right driver. Laurent Aiello, a man for big titles. Laurent Aiello was no ordinary driver. He had already won Super Tourenwagen Cup, the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the BTCC, and soon DTM. The 2002 season started far stronger than any before. His main rival was Bernd Schneider, a 2-time consecutive DTM champion and Mercedes legend who would later become a 5-time champion. 2002, the war for DTM glory. The season began spectacularly. The first 4 grid positions went to the Audi TT at Hockenheim and Zolder. Aiello won 3 of the first 4 races. Next stop, Donington Park, dominated by a familiar name, John Alesi. Both Aiello and Schneider received stop-and-go penalties. Sachsenring, Aiello claimed 2 victories while Schneider stayed right on his heels. Then came Norrisring with 126,000 spectators. The two rivals battled wheel-to-wheel for lap after lap. In the final corner of race 2, Aiello passed Schneider for the win.
Aiello goes way wide. Schneider's inside. Aiello jumps inside, bumps Schneider, and he's by. Now Laurent Aiello has to hold him off. Schneider's car is faster down the straight. Here they come. Is he gonna hold on? He does.
The gap grew. 48 points for Aiello, 21 for Schneider. At Lausitzring, the pair traded victories once again. At the Nürburgring, Aiello held off 2 Mercedes cars with Schneider glued to his rear bumper. Austria, the craziest race of the season. Austria delivered chaos. Schneider started second, Aiello third. Mercedes had a better launch, and after the first corner, Aiello dropped to 6th. But he kept the pace. A perfect pit stop brought him back ahead of Schneider. Out of the pits, Schneider was all over Aiello, but a mistake put him into the gravel, and somehow he kept it going. In the closing stages, an Audi clipped Schneider, but he somehow stayed in it as chaos erupted behind him, with an Audi and 3 Opels spinning at the same time. On the final lap, Schneider had fully recovered and was charging back, closing in on both Fessler and Aiello. Fessler defended hard, holding up Aiello, which allowed Schneider to pass them both. But Aiello wasn't done. Into the next corner, all 3 went side by side. Schneider made slight contact with Fessler, but somehow stayed ahead. He entered the penultimate corner in the lead, but a small mistake opened the door. In the final corner, Aiello dived to the inside, forcing Schneider wide. Aiello lost the rear, clipped Fessler, and went into the barriers. With half the front bumper missing, Aiello still finished 5th. Schneider was 2nd. Zandvoort, drama to the end. The penultimate round, Zandvoort. In the qualifying race, Aiello suffered a fuel issue, was disqualified. Schneider finished 6th. In the main race, Schneider started 6th. Aiello from the very back. Schneider needed a win. During pit stops, Christian Abt deliberately slowed to help the team. Schneider exited the pits first, but only 3rd overall. Fessler let him through. Ahead was Matthias Ekstrom, another Audi, but Ekstrom held firm. And with that, Laurent Aiello secured the 2002 DTM championship. He dedicated the title to his grandfather, who had passed away that year. The model as a symbol of the story. My model is from 2003, but it doesn't represent just one car or one season. It represents everything a racing car stands for: dreams, struggle, hard-earned victories, and unforgettable defeats. Produced by Schuko in 1:43 scale, it is remarkably detailed, capturing the proportions, aerodynamics, and racing character of the real TTR. But its true value goes beyond detail. It represents an entire era, a time when Audi, through the TTR, proved that design, engineering, and courage could come together to change history. It stands as a quiet reminder of years of development, endless hours in garages, unpredictable races, and moments when championships are decided. And that is why, even at 1:43 scale, its story is far bigger than its size.